And so then was it UFC 1 where you said, oh, jiu-jitsu, what's going on with that?
Yeah, because that was the time when chokeholds were like lethal, like you're going to die. Well, you realize, not really. The second UFC, no one died. Third UFC, chokeholds actually work. And nowadays people can sometimes say, oh, jiu-jitsu it's not the most, it's a base, it's a prerequisite you have to have to even be competitive.
Right.
So, yeah, very effective. And of course, the sport has evolved technically over the years. If you look at technology and technique are kind of similar because they develop over time. The technique of boxing now is different in the 80s, and that's different from the 50s. Football looks different now than back then. Jiu-jitsu is the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? There's all kinds of things happening right now that no one even envisioned back in 1995.
And it compounds faster, right? Like if you watch how fast technology's has improved, if you watch the jiu-jitsu curve, it's like the new moves. Back when we started, there'd be like a new move.
It would be
like, oh my God, this is crazy that someone came up with something. And now there's, some blue belt tonight came up with like a sick variation of a move, and that's just the way it works. So it's like everyone's better.
I started 8 months, I don't know, maybe 1 year, maybe 6 months before you. And so you for sure had already joined at this time. But the omoplata was a brand new move. And if someone did that at a tournament, I was like, oh, look, he's doing a brand new move. Yeah. And then would take the VHS camcorders and look at it. It was like, that was the highlight. That was like the Berimbolo or, now it's leg locks, of course. So
was it the UFC that when you watched the UFC, you were like, I got to find a jiu-jitsu gym, and you opened up the yellow pages or whatever?
No one knows about yellow pages. What's that?
Yeah, no.
Get the rotary
remember
phone.
Fabio had an ad in the San Diego Leader.
Yeah,
that's like
he was like this.
That's what I remember. The Fabio Santos ad in the San Diego Reader. I remember seeing that, but it was Higgs that brought me down.
Yeah,
because Higgs had been training there for a while. So you were good fast, right?
Sometimes, I'll think, man, I'm really faltering here. Nothing's happening, and then next month I realize I'm twice as good as I was.
Yeah.
And I'll go, what happened? And then I feel like I'm losing ground. I think that's because you're learning. Sometimes you learn a little bit, but because it's something new,
you
might
have to
be
implement.
better. You actually go down in performance.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that down yet.
Yeah.
And then of course you get it down, and at a higher level of technique, now you're up to here.
I explain that to businesses a lot. Like businesses want to implement a new process, and I'm like, you have to tell the people that out of the gate, you're going to get less efficient. When you implement a new process, you're going to get less efficient. Then once you master the new process, you'll get more efficient. It's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. You start implementing a new move, you're going to get worse. And then once you master the move or you get good at the move, then you'll start getting better again. Did we...
Jocko, real fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lend to you an analogy for that. That's very simple. I heard nowadays kids don't even learn cursive now. I heard that. I don't know. But you learn printing, and in a few years you're writing your name. They put glitter on it. You give it to your mom. She puts it in the fridge. So it's a little kid writing. But after a few years, you're writing your name, and you could write. And they say, we're going to learn cursive now. Well, your cursive looks way more jacked up than your printing, but it's a more advanced form of writing. So you get that down. And then back then, by the way, there's no typing in high school. That was junior, or it was college. So in college, you learn typing. Initially, you're just like, you're slower than you would write. But eventually, we learn typing. See, so your performance declines until you get a more advanced thing down in your head. And all of a sudden, you can type 50 words, 60 words a minute. That's a more advanced, more efficient way of typing or writing. So that's a good way I express that idea to people who may not be in business. That simple way like that. Makes sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. I'm trying to think.
Good analogy.
So
analogy.